crew back in the day, and it was our first round of amplifiers and the first EG project. And we couldn't figure out how to do that during the day in a little shop, so we made this night crew, and I turned the short straw again, and I ran that night crew. And so we had this, the crew was made, you know, we sprayed, we did all operations. I don't think I ever missed a day of work in that night crew except for this one night, and I felt terrible, and the guys were like, go home, you look terrible. Is that the night you broke your thumb? That was after I broke my thumb. I had the flu. And so I was home and I get this phone call that the factory's on fire. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I jump in the car and I start driving back. Paul's driving back. Larry Melton, is he still here? No, he left. Larry left? Larry Melton was playing bass earlier with Todd Bauschke. So Larry was one of the original employees at PRS, and he came back after doing some session work in LA and worked for me as a night shift guy. That room was on fire, and it was what Paul said. Flames were coming out of this paint shaker. We had two 55-gallon drums of acetone, one of lacquer thinner sitting right there. And Larry, a major news event, probably. And Larry Melton goes back in there with a little handheld fire extinguisher and put that thing out. And I told him when I saw him out this morning, that was the craziest thing I've ever heard of anybody do. Larry Melton, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, so here's a story. Here's a story that a lot of people don't know. When we built the factory, I was positive someone was going to try to break in and rob us. So we ran phone lines in next to the door that said alarm system on them. And we ran them into the alarm system so that if you cut them, it sent off a silent alarm to the alarm company, and we ran the alarm lines on the other side of the building. Ah. True story.
It's still that way now.
It's still that way now. Marked because at that time you marked what the phone lines were for which lines and whatever. And it said alarm system lines on it, real small. And we get a call, silent alarm, and the factory's being broke into. And I popped, it was about 2 in the morning, right? I pop out of the car and I drive as fast as I can, and I call you, and you're driving as fast as you can. And tell them what you saw. You got there first.
Okay, yeah, so I pull up, and above the bay door, there was the bell. It was like the old-fashioned things, and you had the bell.
The alarm was going off.
The alarm was going off like crazy, and there's somebody on the roof with a hammer just beating that bell.
Trying to break it.
Just trying to get that thing to shut up, thinking that was the problem, but it wasn't really the problem. And then...
You chased him.
I did. I went into the factory and ran up the back stairs onto the roof and saw him jump off the roof and jump into the alley and chased him for a while. Didn't catch him though. He was fast. I was pretty fast.
But you found all his tools.
Found his tools in a trailer. You take it from
here. I don't know this.
Oh, okay.
You said they were sitting on top of a wheel.
They were inside of this utility trailer, and they were marked as PRS tools. That's the bad word.
Inside job.
A little inside job. And we did find out who that was, and it got taken care of. It was fun in the end, but it was exciting.
So what he did was he walked up. He said, "I'll fix the alarm," clipped the phone lines, and then decided to cut the alarm from going off. I mean,
I have a question.
All right.
I have a question.
By the way, we decided not to plan this because there's so many stories, we knew they'd come out.
This is a random question, and I honestly don't know the answer to this. When I started working there was a plaque. We had a buffing room and a final assembly room, and there was a little hallway to get to there. There was a plaque on the wall, and it said, "The work in this shop is dedicated to Gordon Fletcher III." And I never knew who Gordon
Okay, so Gordon Fletcher was the guy who wrote the Limp Blimp review of Houses of the Holy in Rolling Stone. He was a record reviewer. And when he wrote the Limp, it's a Limp Blimp, Led Zeppelin did not talk to the press for 10 years. He was the guy that discovered Kiss. They were a New York Dolls band dressed in dresses. And he went to them, he said, "This isn't going to work. You got to dress the other side." And convinced them to dress in that stuff with the makeup and the whole thing. And he got them started, and he was the reviewer in Rolling Stone. We became friends, and he passed away one night. He got a virus, and a couple days later he passed away. And the neck of his guitar, I was halfway done, and I ended up making that neck into a guitar for Sam of Ground Star, which was Larry Urey's band. And what had happened was, right in the middle of building him this special instrument, that he had passed away, and he was a really good friend of mine. And it was really not good. And the people at the music store where he worked at did not let them go to the funeral. And I thought that was really wrong. And so I put this sign on the wall that all the work was dedicated to Gordon Fletcher. That's the story. Limp, limp.